Hi, my name's Pettingale, and today I'm going to share one of my favourite buildings that I worked on, the Bomar House. The Bomar House is an exquisite, beautiful house with an old carriage house to the side. It is indeed an absolute treasure. We were called in to actually work on the chimneys that were very high and very specialised that had been caused by storm damage. At the same time, we were called in because it had had some movement to do some specialised work up and around the windows and the arches, removing specialised stone. And also as well, what we did do, because it had thin mortar joints, about 3/16, penny joints they're called, we used a proprietary system to repoint it. It is a bit of a secret and we'll go into that down the line. But other than that, this is one of the most beautiful buildings I've worked on. So please enjoy this video and see how we did it. My name is Pettingale.
Today, specialised masonry restoration are in Gainesville, Texas. Why we're in Gainesville, Texas is to work on this beautiful historic house called the Bomar House that was constructed in the 1900s. This house itself was built on a foundation of beautiful local stone.
The front of this house is spectacular, with its large chimneys, Corinthian columns and its open porch. Here's a rear view showing this beautiful enclosed porch. The rear of the building has had the original cast stone lintels removed in the past. A closer inspection shows a poor repair above the two left windows.
At the rear of the house, this gives us a good visual of just how the house itself was designed, with a beautiful balcony coming across the second floor. It does give you a good open picture of the challenges we faced to scaffold up on top of the roof to achieve our works. Also, it gives you a better view of just the size of the chimneys and the scope that we are going to take on. But being a safe company, I've been able to plan ahead, organise ahead, we can run our jobs very, very smoothly.
The old pump house that used to provide the house with fresh water, and the original carriage house. The pool in front of the carriage house was recently added. The centre of the brickwork above the arch was starting to drop downwards.
One of the things that we were called in on is the chimneys. The chimney stacks themselves are nice big high chimney stacks, but they are starting to show wear and tear. So in the background you can see the chimney up top. Because it's worn and weathered, what we're going to do is take off the actual crown around the top of the chimney and rebuild that back into place with repointing in areas that need it. At the bottom, you can see the flashing has already been worked on by the roofers in the past, so it's been well maintained, but we're just going to up that maintenance a little bit more. One of the big things, as I said on the other side, what we're looking at is that it's got 5 chimneys. 2 of these are in disrepair, especially up about halfway section on the one that you can see at the back. It's been well weathered and the bricks itself are starting to fall apart, so we're going to get up top and take that chimney down halfway and rebuild that chimney, because we feel that it's twisted too much, so we're going to have to put that back into place. The other chimney itself we're going to do the same, come down halfway. But from a visual aspect, from on the roof and to the side, we have concerns that that chimney is leaning more than we'd like. If that is the case, then what we're going to have to do is take the chimney down all the way and rebuild it back up. Now, because there are a shortage of 1900 bricks, we are going to utilise the skills of Acme, and Acme have come up and helped us with getting a brick called Yankee Hill. This Yankee Hill is the closest match we can get. It is a larger brick and it does have perforations, but when it's cut, it matches the colour and texture very, very well. We might have to implement these on the actual chimney themselves so that we can use the original bricks from the chimney, which you don't see, in areas where we've got cracked bricks, cracked units, to replace them so that they match absolutely perfectly.
A view of the damaged chimneys. Also, there was a severe steep pitch on the roof. The chimneys were in bad shape, especially around the crowns. Bricks in certain areas were just hanging on. A lot of skill and preparation is needed to handle a boom lift correctly. A boom lift helps SMR get a close-up of the problem and work out a correct repair strategy. With everyone briefed about the next stages of repairs to the chimney, preparations were made so that the work could be carried out safely. SMR went up in the boom lift and removed the damaged brickwork. The chimneys were rebuilt using matching mortar. SMR also added steel bracing to the chimney to support them in high winds.
To achieve a role of safety, specialised masonry restoration have applied good solid staging scaffolding so that we can approach the work carefully and do our work methodically. The work itself is high. As you can see up on the top on the beautiful section of brickwork up there, we're going to repoint, grind out and repoint this elevation all the way down.
Foundation movement had dropped the right hand corner of the building. A close-up shows how the arch and the brickwork have become twisted and dropped above the frame. Specialised masonry restoration removing the damaged brickwork above the arch. A close-up detail of the brickwork behind the arch. The stone itself has been hand carved. With the stone centered, SMR had to re-level the twisted masonry. The brickwork at second story was triple withe and held together with brick headers. Rebuilding the brickwork, SMR added stainless steel support to the bed joints. Here is a view of the finished brickwork with the matching mortar. Foundation movement and weathering over the years had brought a need for repointing to much of the right hand side.
Right. On this elevation we're going to grind out the bed joints. They are thin, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a European approach. The joints themselves, when designed, were built to be 3/16. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply a 4mm diamond blade to be able to cut the joints out approximately 12mm depth, and on the header joints the same as best we can, to repoint and give it a uniform finish, not cutting up or tearing the bricks.
This elevation was desperately in need for repointing and crack repair. Scaffolding was safely erected to this area. When repointing masonry or stone, a solid set of scaffolding is needed. The area to the right of the window was ground out and a test area of mortar was applied. This section above the cast stone was repointed and the section underneath has been ground out. Note how tight the bed joints are. Here the top section has been repointed and cleaned using Show Clean brick cleaner. SMR used a proprietary new machine to grind out the old mortar safely and not damaging the bricks. Old nails and screws in the mortar joints had spoiled some of the bricks. With this section finished, we removed the scaffolding to the next section to be repaired. Brickwork above the lintel was in disrepair due to foundation movement. This section of brickwork was 2 wives thick. Bricks were originally made by Colleyville Brick Company over 100 years ago. With the outer leaf of brickwork removed, you can see how the inner leaf was originally constructed. In this picture, you can see horizontal brick headers. With our new levels set, the brickwork was reinstated. We had to adjust the bed joints incrementally to match the existing. A view of the rebuilt masonry with colour matched mortar, just showing fine brickwork. With that section finished, we moved on to the final elevation on the back of the building. When constructed, thin bed joints were used, which can leave voids in the mortar, as seen here. Again, to reiterate, having a solid platform to work from is so important. You can see the new mortar has been applied to the thin bed joints. Thin bed joints have to be repointed slowly and correctly. SMR's specialised machinery can cut out mortar with precision. They say you can't use machinery to grind out historical mortar. SMR have shown here that you can. The final pointing phase was successfully finished. The original pump house was in despair around the arches. Here, the picture shows where the brickwork was collapsing above the doorway. SMR rebuilt the arches, ground out and matched the mortar to give the finished project on this historic Bomar house by SMR.